Alright guys, so it's Wednesday and that means I'm going to be posting my picks for the NFL Week 3. Yes, it's Week 3 already, which is kind of crazy, but at the same time, we're getting there. We're getting into the good games of the year, and this week's pretty good in my opinion. So let's get right down to it. We got the Texans going to Foxborough to play the Patriots on Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. Now, I saw on ESPN that the Houston Texans are actually favored by 1 to win this game, which is insane. I didn't expect the Texans to be favored to beat the Patriots, but I guess it makes sense because, it's a third stringer. At least at the moment, it is a third stringer starting this game, so I guess it makes sense. But I think the Patriots are going to pull off a win. I want the Texans to win. I hate both of these teams, but I would rather see the Texans win than see the Patriots go 3-0. So, I'm going to go with the Texans to hopefully... Or no, I'm going to go with the Patriots, my bad. But I want the Texans to win. So, yeah. Then we got the Sunday games. We got the Ravens going to Jacksonville. I don't know how to feel about this one, because last week I picked Jacksonville to beat who they play, San Diego, and they got destroyed. The week before, Jacksonville actually played decent against one of the better teams, one of the elite teams, I guess. So, I don't know what to think about this game. I'm going to stay safe and go with the team that's hot and stick with Baltimore. They're 2-0. I think they're going to win this game. Just, I feel like the Jaguars are they're up and coming, but they're just not there yet. So, I think Joe Flacco will pull off a win in this game. We got the Redskins and the Giants. Now, this is the game that I'm going to be watching because, one, it's a 1 o'clock game. The Eagles don't play until 4:25, so I have 3.5 hours to waste. So that's the game I'm going to be watching. And I'm going to be rooting for the Redskins, mostly because I don't want to see the Giants going 3-0. I'd rather see the Redskins go 1-2 and the Giants finally lose a game than see the Giants go 3-0. And as much as I would love to see the Redskins go 0-3, I would rather see the Redskins get their first win than see the Giants go 3-0. So, this is going to be a good game. Last week against the Cowboys, the Redskins put up a really great game. A lot closer. It was an up-and-down game. Some say the Redskins should have beaten the Cowboys. I personally think that they should have. They were the better team, but they just made some terrible mistakes, like the interception in the end zone. Kirk Cousins, just what were you thinking? That's all I have to say. So, I'm rooting for the Redskins for more reasons than one, so let's hope the Redskins win. We got the Lions going to Lambeau to play the Green Bay Packers. Packers, I don't know. They didn't look that sharp against Minnesota. That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a really good game. Matthew Stafford's actually doing pretty good, putting up good numbers, even without Calvin Johnson. Aaron Rodgers and that offense have been struggling. The defense has been doing well, limiting their opponent to a certain amount of points, but the offense has been really not that great. I don't know who I want to pick for this one. Sorry, my mic moved. But I'll go with the Lions. I don't know if I made the right pick there. That's going to be a really good game. Guaranteed that's going to be a good game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions won, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers won. So, I'll go with the Lions. I'll go with an upset if that is the upset. I don't know. That's a really good game, and the way the Packers are playing, I know Aaron Rodgers is probably going, relax, and so are the entire fan base of the Green Bay Packers. But just looking at their previous games, you played Jacksonville, you almost blew that game. You play Minnesota. Minnesota is, I guess you could say, the better team now that they have Sam Bradford, who just proved he can do really well in that offense. But they just did not play well against them, and that's a division rival. That's the thing, and the Lions are a division rival too. So I don't know what to expect from this. So I'm gonna stick and stay confident and say the Lions will pull off a close win. The Browns are going to go to Miami to play Adam Gase's new and improved Miami Dolphins. Basically, a team that is top tier but not playing top tier. And that's what Chris Sims called them, because they're playing like they could be up there, but they're not. They're about to be. Like Ryan Tannehill, he's like about up there, but he's not up there. You know what I mean? He's just, that entire offense and defense is just not doing their job. I mean, they went to Seattle and they shut them down to 12 points. They almost won in Seattle, which is a hard thing to do, not to mention, they're not that great a team. They've made some improvements over the offseason, but they didn't do too much besides get the new coach and the new system running. So what happened last week when who they play the Patriots when they were down like 24-0? What happened there? You didn't make the comeback, but you didn't win. So then again, the Browns on the other hand, they got destroyed by the Eagles. Well, I wouldn't say destroyed, but they got beat by the Eagles, and then they blew a 20-0 lead in the second half against the Baltimore Ravens. So both of these teams are at that kind of peak where they both cannot do it. I'm going to go with the Dolphins simply because they're the better team, but both of these teams have the talent to win this game, but one of them is going to end up blowing it. That's what I have been seeing from both of their previous games, both of their previous outcomes. Dolphins can't finish a game, Browns just blow every single game, or they just don't play well. So we'll see how that game goes. Go Dolphins, I guess. Vikings going to Cam Newton and the Panthers in Carolina. Now, Sam Bradford just proved to Aaron Rodgers that he can be a good quarterback in a good system with a good team. Can he do it again against another good team and another good system in another tough place to win? Now, Carolina, they're still no joke, no matter, them losing twice to the Broncos, whether it be the Super Bowl or Week 1 rematch of the Super Bowl. They're still a pretty damn good team, and I believe that they will come out and be very, very, very competitive and very aggressive. But I think the Vikings are going to win this game. I'm going with the Vikings because I like them. And not only do I like them, but they look like a great team. Adrian Peterson is going to get that surgery that's going to make him miss a lot of time on that field. So they're going to be out of Adrian Peterson, but they got Mike Asiata. They got a lot of depth there, and not to mention they have some explosive wide receivers. Their defense is a very strong defense. I think that they can beat the Panthers in a very close affair, probably by a score of like 27-24, maybe a score of 33-30. Something along those lines. Maybe not too high scoring because the past 2 weeks haven't been that high scoring of a game. So who knows? But I think that the Panthers will lose this game to the Vikings. Now on to the Broncos going to Cincinnati to pay Andy Dalton and AJ Green and Sanu and all those guys down there in Cincy a visit. I think the Broncos will win this game. The Bengals, I've talked about it all the time, especially my breakdowns of the Eagles and their schedule when they go to play Cincinnati later on in the year. Bengals can't necessarily finish a game, and they can't beat these big-time AFC, rivals that are contenders for the playoffs. Bengals, they're always up there. They're always up there in the playoffs. They're always up there in the standings, but they can't beat these guys. They can't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They can barely beat the Broncos. They did beat I don't know if they beat the Broncos last year during the regular season. I think they might have when Brock Osweiler was filling in for Peyton Manning in that 5-game stretch. But this is a different team. This is a different quarterback. Bengals, they just lost pretty badly to the Steelers last week. So I'm gonna go with the Broncos by a score of like 17-13. It's gonna be a close, low-scoring game. That's just how the Broncos roll. They're not that great of an offensive scoring team. I think that they'll pull off a close win. Moving on to the Cardinals and the Bills in Buffalo. As much as I hate it, you can just tell that pause was just me thinking, really? Buffalo against Arizona? I think Arizona's going to win this game. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a score of like maybe 31-20, 31-14. It's not going to be a blowout per se, but it's going to be like Arizona just has no regrets against any team. They're just going to destroy them if they can because, whatever. I'm picking Arizona. The Raiders are going to Tennessee to play Marcus Mariota and the Titans. And, DeMarco Murray, I'm sorry. I forgot he was even there. But I want the Raiders to win this game, but last week proved to me that they can't even beat a team like Atlanta. Atlanta isn't that terrible of a team, but they're not that great. I thought the Raiders would be a better team in this situation last week, but they weren't. So I'm gonna go with the Titans. I'm gonna go with the upset. Marcus Mariota, maybe this is a year that he can actually prove himself. Not go 3-13. DeMarco Murray, maybe he'll have a bigger game than what he's gotten in the past 2 weeks. But either way, I think the Titans will pull off like a 21-14 win. Something along those lines. It's not going to be that crazy of a game. It's not going to be that exciting of a game. I could easily be wrong, and the team that I actually want to win, the Raiders, can easily win this game. But I think the Titans will. That's just my thought. The Rams going down to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. That's a good crappy game. The Buccaneers kind of just got exposed on defense, and not same thing on offense, but I think the Rams... No, I'll go with Buccaneers. No, screw it. I'll go with the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are the better team. Yes, they got blown out by a better team, a team that's, predicted to win the Super Bowl this year. That's different, I think the Buccaneers will win this game by a score of let's go with a score of 27-17, 27-14. Something along those lines. Rams offensively aren't that great. We know that. Defensively, the only team that they can play like they're playing Seattle, or play like the Rams are imitating Seattle, is Seattle. So, I hope you understood what I said there. Basically, what I'm saying is that the Rams only play good on defense when they're playing Seattle. They out-Seattle Seattle, so that's how they do. But I think the Buccaneers will pull off a win here. 49ers going down to play Seattle. Now, Chip Kelly. They're not doing terrible in San Francisco. I'm really stuttering. I'm sorry. They're not doing terrible in San Francisco, but I don't know how I feel about Seattle. I'm going to go safe and just say Seattle. Seattle is the better team after all, but the 49ers, who knows? Literally, who knows? It's Chip Kelly. It's Blaine Gabbert. It's whoever they have a running back. It's whoever they have I don't know their personnel. I'm sorry. All right. Steelers and the Eagles at the Link at 4:30. Okay. Let me think here. Upset of the week. Let's go. All right. This is upset of the week. I predict the Eagles will win this game by a score of 31-28. Now, let me talk about this. The Steelers do have one of the best wide receivers in the league in Antonio Brown. They have a pretty damn good running back in Miller, whoever it is back there. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. I'm drawing a blank thinking about the other teams right now. But overall, the Steelers are a really good team, and I have said in the past that I feel like they could be a Super Bowl contender, and I still do to a certain degree. It depends. It really does depend on how they play out the rest of their schedule. Because looking at their depth chart, looking at the personnel, they do look like a Super Bowl contender. But that can obviously go wrong. It's gone wrong for plenty of other teams in the past. I mean, there are plenty of examples. I'm not gonna touch on that, but I'm just saying that is easily a possibility for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've been there. They haven't won it since they played Arizona back in 2008, 2009, whatever it was. They did go back and play Green Bay, right, and they lost. But I personally think that Carson Wentz and this defense that we have will upset the Steelers at home. One is that the Eagles are at home, which is a big advantage. I know both of these teams are both in Pennsylvania, but when you are at home, you get the home crowd and everything. You get that home field advantage. It gives you that better feeling when you're out on the field. I feel like Carson Wentz will feel a lot more safer when he's playing a good team at home. And not to mention, this is our very first actual challenge, I guess NFL experts would say, since this team is actually a great team, comparing Pittsburgh to Chicago or Cleveland. This is a really good team. So the Eagles can easily pull one away from this team. I feel like their defense will be able to get to Ben Roethlisberger. I feel that they will be able to get pressure. I feel like they won't be able to contain Antonio Brown, but they'll contain him enough to make Ben have to go after other receivers. Therefore, that can, cause some, that can happen. That can turn into some sacks. That can turn into some fumbles. Maybe we can force a bad throw, maybe a pick, here and there. We just got to get that offensive line and that offense in general clicking early. We don't want one good drive and then to stall the rest of the first half. And then second, third, fourth quarter, we're actually doing pretty good, I want to see a consistency around the entire offense and how we do this week. Not to mention, I don't want to see any more drops. That's huge. I don't want to see any more drops from anybody. But in all honesty, this game could go either way. I'm picking the Eagles just because I feel they can do it, and I have confidence in Carson Wentz. I know the coach and the team has confidence in them, and I'm not going to be one of those skeptical Eagles fans that don't think that they'll have a shot. I think they do have a shot. It might not be the biggest shot, but it'll be enough, and I think that they can pull it off. Now we have the Jets going to Kansas City. That's a pretty decent game. Chiefs did just come off of a really bad loss against Houston. The Jets are coming off a good division win against the Bills. I think the Jets will pull off a win. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Jets will be able to outscore Andy Reid, Alex Smith, Jeremy Maclin, all those guys down there in Kansas City. Moving on to San Diego, going down to Indianapolis. That's a pretty decent game. It's not the best game, but like Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck. I mean, that's not that bad of a fight at quarterback. I think Andrew Luck can pull off a win. I think they have the better team, as much as I hate to say it. I hate both of these teams. I'm just going to say that Andrew Luck could win this game. Bears and the Cowboys, Sunday Night Football, prime time, 8:30 Sunday nights on NBC 10. I don't think I want the Bears to win, but I know they won't. Jay Cutler's out. Brian Hoyer is in, and I've always liked Brian Hoyer over Jay Cutler, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think the Cowboys will win this game, but I'm picking the Bears simply because I want them to. It could be the upset of the week. Who knows? Dallas isn't that great, and they could easily be fooled by the way that the Bears stumble into Dallas, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I feel conflicted about this game. I really want the Bears to win that game for obvious reasons. So I'm going to stick with the Bears. And finally, on Monday, September 26th, we got the Atlanta Falcons going down to the Superdome in New Orleans to play the Saints. Drew Brees. I want Drew Brees to do what Drew Brees does and throw 4 touchdowns, over 400 yards, no turnovers, and beat this guy, Matty Ice. I want the Saints to win, and I'm picking the Saints to win. 1, they're at home. 2, I feel that offense should be the reason why they win. They should have beaten the Giants last year, but somehow they didn't. I don't know how, but they didn't. It's just crazy how things work down there. But I think Atlanta is going to stumble and fall against Drew Brees and the Saints. No questions, no anything. That's just my opinion, and I hope you guys agree with them. If you don't, please tell me in the comments what you think. Subscribe for more content. I will see you guys all later on this week with any video that I want to do. It'll be about whatever, whenever. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday night. See you guys later. Peace.